Games are coming thick and fast. Every single 2 days, 3 days, we have a game, and we are back in the Europa League once again to face PSV. Now, this week, we were supposed to play against Manchester City in the Premier League because these midweek Premier League games are being played, but that was postponed. So we could play our game that was postponed a couple of months ago, or a couple of weeks ago, maybe a month ago against PSV. That is a game that we are going to be playing this week. So the Man City game will be rescheduled for next year. So we'll play Man City twice next year. But we're not here to talk about Man City. That has already been postponed. We are here to talk about our game against PSV. Tough game. They are currently second in our group. If we win this one, we put ourselves in such a good position. We will be around 5 points ahead of them if we beat them in this one. Next week, we are going to their place, which is not going to be easy. So if you win this one, you might actually afford to go to their place and get a draw, and that will be enough, considering our last game is at home to Zurich, the team that has been beaten by everyone so far. So PSV against Arsenal, which kind of lineup will Arteta go for? The last couple of games for us have not been great in terms of performances. Result-wise, perfect. Got a 1-0 win against Glimt, got a 1-0 win against Leeds as well. None of those games were easy. If both teams could finish better in the games, we could probably have considered 2 or 3 goals in each of those games. Some people are saying it's because the players are tired. We've played a lot of games this month already against Tottenham, Liverpool, and all those guys. So maybe a couple of players will be rested in this one. But I'm thinking, since this is our second, I'd say our third toughest game of the group, I think our toughest will be away to PSV. I think our second toughest was the one we played last week against Glimt. This is our third toughest game and probably our toughest team in our group so far. So which kind of lineup will it go for? Will he rest people because we have a couple of other Premier League games coming up, or will he go directly for the 3 points, play the first team, or what will happen? So this is the lineup I am expecting from Mikel Arteta. So in goal, that one is not tough at all. I think Matt Turner will start once again. The last couple of games, clean sheets for him against Glimt. Hopefully he can keep a third clean sheet in a row. Not going to be easy. You expect PSV to attack us. You expect them to take shots against us. You expect them to create chances against us. So Matt Turner will be needed to make saves in this one. So he starts as the goalkeeper. Now, the back line is where it becomes a bit tricky, especially center back and all that. Who starts? I think Rob Holding will keep his position. So let's go to Rob Holding first. I think he will keep his right center back position. He's played in every single Europa League game so far. You expect him to cover in the Carabao Cup as well. I think we play that game next month against Brighton. He scored when he played Glimt at home. This game's another home game. Let's see if he can get another goal in this one. Last week, it wasn't great at all from Saliba wasn't great at all when he played Glimt last week. Same with Ben White, same with Holding. We kept a clean sheet, yes, but none of them was really great. Actually, a clean sheet, yes, but could be 6 out of 10 for both of them. I think Matana saved us in that game a lot. So Rob Holding starts once again, but who starts next to him? We've already seen Gabriel starting next to him. We've already seen Saliba starting next to him. This time round, I'm thinking he's going to bring back Gabriel once again. He was our best defender against Leeds, Gabriel. Yes, he had that moment of madness in the last minute, but in terms of the game overall, he was our man of the match in terms of defenders, probably even second after Ramsdale in that game. So I think he starts once again with Holding, just like they did in the first game against Zurich and in the second game against Glimt. So Gabriel and Holding. Fullback-wise, I think Tierney starts once again. He didn't play over the weekend against Leeds, or he came on. He didn't start. Tomiyasu started at left back once again. Zinchenko is still out. Would have been amazing if he was there so that players could rotate more. But Tierney is having to start once again. That is where we are really lucky in terms of Tomiyasu. He can play at left back. He can play at right back. Ben White can play as a centre back. He can play as a right back. Because without Zinchenko and any other centre back who got injured or gets injured, we would be in trouble. But luckily, if one player is out injured, we can switch Tomiyasu to left back. We can play Tierney there. We can switch Ben White to right back. We can switch him to centre back. That is where we have an advantage. So Kieran Tierney starts against PSV on the left side. And then on the right side, who could it be? Could it be Ben White once again? He started last time out. Or could it be Tomiyasu, who's been playing at left back? And Tomiyasu played 3-4 games in 2 weeks. Is he recovered that much? Fully recovered to play all those games in a couple of weeks? Or is it going to be Cedric for the first time this season? Very, very tricky, but I'm thinking he's going to go with Tommy. I'm thinking he's going to go with Tomiyasu at right back. So I'm going to put him there, Tomiyasu. I think if it was an easier game like Zurich at home, I think Cedric would have started. But I think Tomiyasu will be in the back four. So this is just predicted, remember. I'm sure in terms of Tana, Holding, and Tierney, but Gabriel and Tomiyasu could be anywhere. It could be White at right back, it could be Saliba at centre back. But I'm guessing since Saliba started last week, I think Gabriel will start in this one. Right back is still very tricky. So this is how that defense looks like. Matt Turner in goal, Tierney at left back, Gabriel and Holding at centre back, and Tomiyasu at right back. They have to defend very well because PSV will create chances and they will be trying to attack us. In terms of midfield, let's move to the midfield. Albert Sambi Lokonga starts once again. I would not be surprised to see Thomas Partey getting a few minutes in this one, but I'd rather rest him for the Premier League games. So Albert Sambi Lokonga starts in central midfield. I don't think it's a disaster or anything like that. So El Neni is still out injured. So Lokonga is the only other option to come in for Partey. For me, I don't think Lokonga is a defensive midfielder like in that role by himself. I prefer him to play where Xhaka usually plays or Odegaard plays. But right now, we don't really have any options until the January transfer window where we can add a couple of midfielders. Xhaka didn't start last time out. I think he starts in this one because of how tough the game will be. So Grant Xhaka comes in next to Lokonga. No problem with that at all. In the first half against Leeds, he was absolutely incredible once again. Last week when he came on against Glimt, we were hoping he was going to show up our midfield because our midfield was being dominated. I think in this one he'll start from the first half. And then on the right side, obviously, I think Fabio Vieira will start. So Fabio Vieira on the right side of Lokonga. So that is how I'm expecting the midfield to look like. Fabio Vieira again against Glimt, very, very quiet. Not only him, the whole attacking was very quiet. So in this one again, we are hoping he replicates the performance he had against Zurich away and against Glimt at home. But last time it was very, very quiet. He was playing on the left side where Xhaka is. A lot of people say it's because he's playing on the left side. He didn't really perform well. Let's see how he does when he's back on the right side. So Fabio Vieira plays that. So in terms of midfield, this is what we have so far. Lokonga, Jacques and Fabio Vieira joining Tierney, Gabriel, Holding, Tomiyasu, and Matt Turner in the starting 11. Forward line again, very tricky, but I'm actually going to go with something that is different. This is what I'm thinking Arteta will do. I think he'll go with something different. So on the left side, I think he'll go with Martinelli. He didn't start last week, so I think he starts in this one. Gabriel Martinelli. Saka is the one who started last week, so Martinelli on the left side. No problem with that at all. Hopefully, he can get the job done early and sub him out. He's been probably our best player this season. Absolutely magnificent. And then up front, I think Nketiah will start again. Nketiah. Last week, as I said, with Fabio Vieira as well, very quiet. Didn't really get the ball a lot. Nelson started last week. Marquinhos is an option. Saka is an option, but he also started last week. So who will he go for this time round? I think he's going to go for something different. I think he's going to go for Gabriel Jesus from the start. I think he's actually going to go for Jesus to join Martinelli and Nketiah up front, which will be pretty interesting. Martinelli and then both Nketiah and Jesus up front. That would be something to look forward to. I mean, last week we got Odegaard and Vieira in the starting lineup. This time around, you could get Jesus and Nketiah. Now, this could totally be wrong. He could still go with Saka instead of Jesus. He might even. So I think Nketiah will definitely start. The only thing is who starts on that right side. But I don't think he'd want to rotate too much. We'd bring in Lokonga, bring in Nketiah, Marquinhos, Nelson again, because this is one of our toughest games in the group and he'd want to win. And Jesus as well, he didn't play last week in the Europa League, so he's a bit fresh. And also he's still one yellow card away from being suspended. So if that happens over the weekend, he probably will start again against PSV next week. But that is what I'm thinking. So this is what it looks like. Matt Turner, Tierney, Gabriel, Holding, and Tomiyasu, Xhaka, Lokonga, and Fabio Vieira, Martinelli, Nketiah, and Jesus up front. If it actually goes with that, Jesus could play at center, Nketiah could move to the right, Nketiah could move to the left, Jesus central, and Martinelli on the right. It could be anything, but hey, Jesus might end up not starting, and you could just easily go for Saka instead. So in terms of the bench, what will the bench look like? This is what we have. Ramsdale, Ben White, Saliba, Cedric, Thomas Partey, Odegaard, Saka, Marquinhos, Nelson, Smith, and Sargent. So that is the lineup that we will have. In terms of how the game will go, I'm hoping we can get a couple of goals, have a couple of goal leads, maybe in the 70th minute, then take off Martinelli, obviously, for Nelson, take off Jesus if he starts, take off Xhaka, take off players like Tierney. But I think he won't rotate that much either way until like the 80th minute because of how tough the fixture is, unless we are 5-0 ahead or something like that. So that is the predicted lineup for Arsenal against PSV. My prediction, I'm going to go for Arsenal to win this by 3-1 because it is a home game. I think next week is going to be hard. I'm actually going to go for I would be happy with a draw next week when you go to PSV. I'm going to go for Arsenal 3, PSV 1. Nketiah to score, Fabio Vieira to score, and Martinelli to score. Let me know your prediction. Let me know what you expect. Would you be happy with this lineup, or would you want to see more fast team players like Ben White starting and Saka starting, or would you want to see more rotation? Would you want to see Nelson instead of Jesus, Marquinhos instead of Martinelli? What would you want to see this weekend? Thank you for watching, and I'll catch up with you on the next one.